Hey everyone. So my name is Theory and I'm a professional RTS player for Aftermath Esports. So today I'll be sharing an effective Infernals versus Infernals opener that helped me secure back-to-back first places in the NA and EU Alpha Navigator Cups on Feb 3rd. So before you watch this guide, I'd recommend you check out some great beginner content from other channels, as this guide will assume some intermediate level of RTS knowledge. So before I get into the details, it's crucial to understand the current Stormgate meta and a few disclaimers about the game. Unlike other RTS games, the Stormgate Infernals doesn't adhere very well to following a rigid supply count or clock timer when executing a build order. The game jumps straight into action. There's lots of gaining and losing units due to fighting, creeping, summoning fiends through the Infernals infest mechanic, which the Gaunts have as a passive. So for the current meta of the game, I would recommend following a general rule of just consistently producing Imps and army as soon as your buildings gain charges for them. So let's dive into the details of this opener and how it can give you an edge on the ladder. This tutorial is going to be very crude guideline, but it's personally what I follow, and it's a powerful way to gain a lot of ladder points. Okay, so I'm going to jump into a custom game and walk over the details of the build order. So at the start of the game, I'm going to make a worker by pressing W and then A. I'm going to grab a worker off my mineral line and send them both downhill. The first one, I'm going to build a conclave by pressing Z to build and then F to make the building. The next worker, I'm going to use A click to attack trees. And you can see me holding shift to queue up the A clicks. And I'm going to go ahead and rally the next worker downhill too. So I'm going to build a second conclave on the other side of the tree line. And I'm kind of positioning myself to be on the left half of the map with this strategy. I'm going to build a Meatfarm right here to kind of be close enough in range to fight this resource camp. And I'm going to restart Imp production to get Theorium. So there's a few strategies when it comes to saturating gold mine. You basically want to 8 is the most efficient at the start, and then you can get up to 12. The order imps are assigned is in order of an empty gold mine is close, close, far, far, close, close, far, far. So if you send worker 9 and 10, they're just gonna like stack up with these two too much to be effective. So now that my conclave is done, I'm gonna make gaunts. Keep making workers, and you'll see that my meat farm is spawning pigs or fell hogs. So I'm going to try to leash this creep camp into my fell hog before I start fighting it. That way my gaunts don't take damage. I'm gonna keep up worker production, and if you want to see what I mean with the workers, I'm gonna swap 4 here and swap 2 from the middle track to here. That'll get me a most efficient spread of 10. There's other more advanced ways of doing it, but that's probably the easiest way to swap them. And now I'm going to go take on the speed camp. The speed camp gives 125 gold total. It'll spawn me 5 fiends, and I'll also get a bunch of animus, which I can use for abilities. You'll also see that I'm hitting these little purple-green bushes. That can be used to slow the hogs. So as they come back out, they're going to be really slowed. They're easy to micro against. So after I've taken the speed camp, I'm going to expand. And behind this, I've been constantly pressing W, A, and W, Z to make Gaunt and Imp production. I'm going to go do the vision camp next. And by this point of the game, my opponent may have taken camps of their own. You'll see their indicators on the minimap disappear if they've taken them. So I can kind of get an idea of where their army is. If they happen to be attacking me directly during this time, I can use this speed buff I just got to quickly run home and defend. So I'm going to be taking over the map. And as I take over the middle camps, it may be too dangerous to go on their half of the map. So often I'll either choose to go for their health camp or my health camp. My health camp on my side is a lot safer. So let's go ahead and build some extra meat farms, because this is where the real attack takes place. We're going to get 75 extra gas from this health camp. So I'm going to go ahead and start the Greater Shrine. This is going to allow my Conclave, which I've been making gaunts out of, to make a Doombringer. So I'm going to go position myself in the middle of the map. That way I can see anything that's coming. And if they've taken camps over here, maybe you need to clear vision. Maybe there's other things that need to happen, etc. So once this is done, you can make, or once your building is upgraded, you can make a Doombringer, as we were mentioning. And around this point of the game, I have 9. So I have 9 gaunts right now. Ideally, you'll want to do this with 8 gaunts. If you're doing this a little bit faster than I'm doing in this tutorial, you may have 8 gaunts by the time this comes out. And you're going to press C to land it. Right-click the gaunts onto the Doombringer. Press V to raise it. And then if you have any extra units that are rallied in, you can A-click their front at the same time, maybe poke. And I'm going to go straight for their mineral line. If there's any fell hogs in here, you can turn those into fiends, any workers turn into fiends, etc. Then another cool micro trick I've been doing is kind of like a warp prism in StarCraft. You can select the Harbinger, and then you can right-click a gaunt to load it, and then hit X to unload. So you can just spam X and right-click to dodge shots and do really cool micro. So next, let's get into a VOD of a replay that I won using this build. So we're looking at a replay from the European Tank Cup, where I do the same build in an Infernals versus Infernals. I'm taking over the map. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 gaunts. I upgraded my shrine, and I've started a Doombringer. I position myself in my opponent's third. I'm ready to begin dropping. And I'm going to try to go for as much damage as I can. And if you do this very well timed, or if they took a third, you may just straight up kill your opponent. Send my fiends to the front to poke. Remember, I don't know what he has here, so if I knew there was a turret, I would not have sent those. I drop in the back, and bam. We have 3 extra fiends from fell hogs. The workers are turning into brutes, or fiends. Snowballing out of control. And actually, my opponent decides to GG here, because it's a very hard position to play back from. So some final thoughts when it comes to transitioning, whether or not this attack is successful or unsuccessful. You'll have to decide whether to transition into a macro game by expanding and teching or executing some sort of all-in play. Right now, there's really no correct answer. What is the correct way to transition, since Stormgate is still a fresh RTS playground? I've personally found a lot of luck transitioning into an Iron Vault and Shadow Cleft, so I can make Magmadons, and I get the Magmadon stun ability from the Shadow Cleft and start incorporating that into my Gaunt armies, and then eventually saving up Animus for a dragon. However, there's still endless possibilities that you can come up with. So try this out and let me know some of the ideas that you come up with.